Hello, dear listener. My name is Mompoloki Mogobe. As always, we try to bring you powerful, impactful, and different type of content that will enhance your life. And this time around, I have a wonderful speaker. He's an author, he's an established entrepreneur in his own right, Mr. Mompoloki Makwana. Welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you so much for hosting me.
We're going to talk about growth. We're going to talk about the importance of growth. And it's a subject which is very close to your heart, and I'd really like you to introduce the subject to the listener and to the viewer. But before we do that, tell them about yourself, who you are and what you're all about.
All right, my name is Mompoloki Makwana, that is far east of Bobirwa in Botswana. So I grew up and I found an area where my mother, my grandfather, they were all business people. They were into business. So every time when I wake up, there were two options. Which one are you choosing? Are you going to sell or are you going to do that? So that was the whole mindset. So now when I grew up, I fell in love with the passion of personal development and motivation. So I end up landing a sales job and then later on transitioning from my sales job to doing life coaching, motivation and personal development coaching.
Sales job is when you're at Cinemedia.
Yes.
That's where I met you.
Yeah, that's where we met.
Yeah.
So that was the transition.
Let's talk about personal growth and, especially in the context of 2020 for people your age and generally aspiring entrepreneurs. Let's break it down. Growth is about courage and it inspires the spirit of taking action. What do you have to say about that?
All right, I think when we talk about the issue of personal growth, we cannot take away the element of taking courage, because growing is stepping into the place of the unknown. So you are not sure of what is going to happen as we take that leap of faith into anything. As we grow up, we realize I've never been exposed to this, and most people, they end up not taking action because they feel like I only want to take action when I am sure, Mr. Mogobe, the pizza, they will sell it, a profit. But when we go in an element of the unknown, most people are not willing to take action. But we can only grow, we can only experience personal growth, professional growth, career growth, relationship growth when we are willing to back our action with faith and know that I have to take a step in order for me to grow.
Let's take it further, take it a step further. For you to growth, it implies a little bit more staying in your lane and self-expression, expressing yourself to the marketplace. What do you have to say about that?
The whole element of growth is being the one that is being led by you from the inside outside. So most people today, when they want to grow, they are looking at what so and so is doing, and they end up not expressing themselves. They end up starting businesses telling other people have started and they feel comfortable in. They end up going for opportunities that other people are already inside, but they are not willing to sit down and say, as Mompoloki Makwana, what do I have inside of me that I can express through the world? That is when I started seeing the shift to say, I can actually write books, I can actually start a business. So growth is self-expression. Anything, Mr. Mogobe, that we achieve without expressing our true selves, we can achieve them, we can be on the billboards, we can be all the magazines of the top 100, but if it's not something that is within us, we are not happy. People may applaud you, but you may not be applauding yourself because you are not expressing yourself. Even though you are succeeding, if you are not succeeding in the area of your gifting that was given to you by God.
You're talking about fulfillment, isn't it? Let's take it a step further. When you say growth brings joy and it cultivates creativity, can you break that down for us and also give specific instances and examples from your life? It's
the words of Tony Robbins, who said, it's not what we get that makes us happy, it's what we become. As we become better in any aspect of our lives, that cultivates joy. As we get better, a businessman, what makes a businessman? When there's growth in their business. What makes parents happy? When they see growth in their kids. What makes farmers happy? When they see their plants growing. What makes me happy as a Mompoloki Makwana is when I see what I have planted in my life getting better. That is where we express true joy. We get fake joy when we are doing what other people are doing and celebrating it, even knowing deep within ourselves that I am not happy, this is not my area of gifting. But your area of gifting, when I do speaking, I can wake up at the middle of the night and still do it because that's what I love. And it's
something you're passionate about.
I'm passionate about. I don't need to be motivated
to be an entrepreneurship.
Exactly. I don't need to be motivated to do that.
Wow.
I am joyful in doing that, and that's what growth brings about in any person's life.
Let's go further and talk about layered learning. You said that growth is an important component of layered learning. First of all, what is layered learning?
As we grow, as we are given any opportunities, whether in our jobs, whether in our businesses, we keep on learning one thing each day. We don't take what we learned yesterday and throw it away. We take it and cultivate a step further today. What I knew yesterday about graphic design is a different thing when I talk about podcast. When I talk about the YouTube, those are the things I didn't know years back. But from the experience of seeing what other people did some years back, I can now take another information on top of the other. It's well expressed by John C.
Speaking of YouTube and learning, you didn't have a YouTube in December. What happens now? I see you are all over social media.
Exactly.
What did you do? How can you get a YouTube channel running in such a short space of time?
Like learning. I saw people like you. I saw the topic, the conference we attended in South Africa. Pin John talks about creating your own economy with digital migration, and I use the information that I had of speaking to say, I know speaking, how can I take it to the next level? Then I saw people like you doing YouTube, and I stepped into that. And now people think, oh, you know these things. 6 months ago I didn't know. That's what growth is about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I have an expression, experiential learning. There's an element of that in all of this.
Yeah.
Now let's go to point number 5, where we really want to go deeper now, talking about growth, creating an environment for raising ambition. In other words, you seem to be saying that action and growth creates an elevated level of ambition.
Yeah.
That's what you seem to be saying. Can you break that down for us?
When do people do more? When they see that they are doing well in their current position. When can someone say, I'm going to give more in my job? When they are promoted to another level. And when people see progress in their life, that is growth, they are inspired to take more action. And as we take more action, we eliminate fear. As we take more action, we build courage. Now with the courage, we can say, Mr. Mogobe, last time you made 2 million. Now I want to make 4 million. Why? Because they see a traceable record of growth. When we see growth in our lives, it says to us, Mr. Makwana, you can do more. When I see some people calling me from the Kingdom of Israel and say, come and speak to us, I'm thinking they can call me in Tanzania. It puts me in a pedestal of saying, I can do more. People think they can do more when they are seeing breakthroughs, when they are seeing growth. But if you are trying this to hit the wall, what comes in? Giving up. But with progress, wow, I managed to do this. Today I managed to get 5 out of 10. We aspire to get 7 out of 10. That is what growth does. It inspires an area where we want to raise our ambition. How many books do I want to write? In a year, this year I want to write 2 books because I saw that 1 book in a year can do. So I am doing that because I am going from that process of seeing what 1 book can do well. And now I can do.
You've written 2 books already. Now you're planning to write 2 this year.
They have been written. I've been launching 2, a business book and a leadership book.
What are they about? What are the topics?
The other book that we are talking is Personal Leadership and Growth, specifically for that. Yes. And then the other one is Corporate Guide to Creating High Performance Culture.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That sounds very exciting. Let's go to another point, self-regulation and self-motivation.
So many people, Mr. Mogobe, they are not operating from what they are capable of doing. They are operating from the script they are given by their parents, the script given by their friends. This course is good, this business is good, tendering is good, and they have not sat down.
You're good at this, you're good at that. Yes. Without investigating it for themselves.
They don't know themselves. There's no self-awareness, which we'll talk about it later. So now what they are doing is they are regulated by other people. There's no self-regulation. So now you are getting in a position where people are like, someone did a science, someone did a medicine science, someone similar business at home, similar business at home. And at the end of the day, they are not happy. Growth brings an element of self-regulation. Mr. Mogobe, now when I'm bungee jumping, I cannot do that. Once people get in a position where they are able to express themselves, now it's self-regulation, not regulated by other people. Now the potential of how far they can go now is limited by the mindset of the people around them. Now you find an area where the Mompoloki Makwana, the business people. Now I don't feel like doing business, I want to be an employee. Self-regulation comes when you are able to detach and say, but what am I good at? What am I capable of doing?
It wasn't bungee jumping what I did. I think that's what you're alluding to. It was called the big swing in a place called Grassco.
Oh wow, yeah, that was amazing.
But that was fun.
Exactly.
My thinking was that I'm developing my courage muscles and my destroying or undermining my fear muscles.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So you wouldn't do that, eh?
No.
Okay.
I won't.
When you say it brings joy, I can see. No, first before we talk about joy, let's talk about the cultural element.
Yeah.
What are you saying about culture?
Culture is a way of life of people in a given environment.
Mm.
There's a certain culture that you possess as Mr. Mogobe.
You talk of success culture.
Success culture, exactly. I'm not talking about just a way of life. I'm talking about a successful way of life where you are intentionally creating a roadmap for your personal life. You are not just doing anything because people are doing it. You are not going with what's trending. You are not doing what's in the news today. You actually have a personal culture. You are saying, every time when I wake up, I'm either listening to this kind of music. I'm either listening to this kind of podcast. I am learning this. I am applying this. Every week, at the end of the week, I ask myself, what are the 5 skills that I've learned this week?
Really?
It's a culture that I keep on asking myself, so that, okay, this week I learned how to tilt a video. This week I learned how to add a head into a video. I keep on getting better in that. So now it's becoming a way of life, which is what culture. It's not just any other culture. It's a success culture because I'm intentional in creating daily routine that establishes me to becoming what I'm becoming. Today, the speaker that you see, that I talk today, the coaching that I do today, they are not similar to what I was doing a year ago. Why? Because I cultivated a culture that every year I'm going to go outside of our country and see what other international speakers are doing and commit to that.
Speaking of which, I saw you attending a seminar in Sentin recently.
Yes, sir.
Something to do with 2020. What was that
2020,
about?
Success 2020. They were about how can we cultivate the courage to face the fears we have. How can we build businesses beyond just our own personal lives? Because normally we run businesses and they are embodied in Mompoloki Makwana. There's nothing running. So they were teaching us about that, and which is something that I needed to hear. Because you find that, yes, speaking...
It's about delegation.
It's about delegation and empowerment. Something you have successfully done well. And now I got in that space to say, I want to learn more of how can I build a team of coaching that can do coaching across Botswana and even in Southern Africa.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're coming towards the end, but here, another thing you talk about joy, and I can see you grinning from ear to ear when you talk about this. So there seems to be genuine joy. Sort of, I don't want to say it's orgasmic, but it certainly is something that gives you a lot of pleasure.
I think for me, if there's no joy in what you do, then there's nothing. If there's no happiness, then why should you pursue it? I think we were designed with the heart and desire to express ourselves. Any person finding themselves in a position where they are doing something and succeeding but are still not happy, I think it's a loss for me. I think for me, I would rather do something that's not paying, that gives me joy, than to go do something that's paying but that is destroying my inner self. We find people building communities of fake environment where they are not portraying on Instagram, where they are not who they say they are. And what happens is that they start attracting people who are not saying they say they are. Now we cultivate an environment of fake people. Now people are cut people. Cut yourself first. You didn't portray the right image before the people, and now you are not happy hanging around these people because that's not who you are. So as we grow and we are authentic with ourselves and we are expressing what we mean, I wrote about it in my personal leadership book that's coming. Be congruent with yourself. Say what you mean and mean what you say. The moment we step in that zone, you may not be paid millions, but you are going to be happy and you are going to do a lot more than when you were the fake you.
In the long run.
Thank you. In the long run. It's a long run game.
Okay. Now, growth empowers and nurtures relationships. Are you talking about personal relationships at home?
Personal and professional relationships.
Break that down for us.
Growing people, they tend to create a cycle of growing people. People who are reluctant to grow, they create a cycle of reluctant growth. So we must be aware that when we look around and say, hey, but who are around me, they're not doing much, it's actually the reflection of who you are. And therefore, to be intentional in building congruent relationships that can nurture productivity and excellence in our organizations, in our personal lives.
One of my previous guests, when you say that, Mohammed France,
yes.
When you have 4 broke friends, guess who's number 5?
It's you. That's the thing. So I think now, as we grow, what happens? We outgrow our current relationships and we step into another level zone. Mompoloki 5 years ago would not have a conversation with Mr. Mogobe because of the mindset and the way he looked at life. But as I changed my mindset, as I begin to grow and see myself going to the US, going to Europe and learning around people who are business minded, then I find myself having a conversation with you a year ago. That is growth. You elevate the relationship by elevating yourself. You don't write emails or whatever. This new year I'm doing bigger things. Do bigger things and you elevate your relationships. That's the whole thing.
And then write about it later.
And then
after you've done it.
Exactly.
All right. Now, in terms of a bonus, you've given us 10 powerful points. I always throw a bonus at my listeners. And dear listener, Mr. Mompoloki Makwana has a bonus to you, for you, saying that basically you're talking about choice.
Yeah.
You're saying that growth is a personal choice. Can you unpack that for us?
And all the beautiful things we've been talking about, growth, is not something that is far from anyone. All of us can choose to grow. And this is a very important element. No one can force you to grow. And as you choose to say, from this week coming forward, up until December, I want to become a better person. I want to improve my relationship skills. I want to improve my excellence at my workplace. I want to improve how I deal with other people. It's a personal choice. Nothing can outbeat a personal choice. The will of the people are so powerful that even when they are not saying anything, you can see what people want. So you have to come into a position and say, I'm deciding to grow, and this is my year for growth. That is why this year I'm doing a seminar tour, 2020 growth. That it's a time to grow. This
Where
is
are you
the
going
right
on the
moment.
seminar tour?
I have been in Gaborone, I went to Good Hope, I went to Mahalape. This weekend I'll be going to Francistown. And then the last month of the February I'll be in the Kingdom of Eswatini, speaking the same thing, 2020 growth.
What are you doing exactly? What are you telling your audiences? What are you teaching them?
All right, every seminar we have the needs assessment form where the participants, they want to share the areas of growth they want to grow in. And therefore we are able to put facilitators who match the needs of those people so they can help them to accelerate growth. I'm a speaker, I don't know everything, but when someone comes and says business mindset, I can put Mr. Mogobe to come and speak about business. When they talk about personal growth of how do I grow my brand, I can put someone in that area to say help them, 10 people they need in that. So that's actually what we are doing. Yeah.
Okay, now if I were to press you and say, if you're talking about growth, what would you say projecting forward with your growth target for 2020? What would be your growth target for the next 5 years? And what's your ultimate target 10 years and beyond?
10 years and beyond, let me start with the bigger vision. 10 years and beyond, we want to see Prime TV, we want to see Prime Radio, we want to see all that. That's running under my business, Prime Coaching. And the content we are doing today is mirroring in what we are going to be doing in the next 10 years. Right now, it's about building a team and building an academy of personal leadership. I want to move away from motivational speaking. We want to build personal leadership academy where people can be taught on how they can hold themselves, how they can improve performance in their work areas. That is the vision. Breaking down to the next,
hold themselves accountable.
So we are talking about 2020 now. I want to see our academy growing and having more and more people, and having an online academy where people even as far as the Kingdom of Eswatini, Swaziland and Nigeria, they can be able to access the teachings there. Teachings like this, we need to find them in a platform and packaging them and taking them to the audience outside our borders.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
By way of final message, what do you say to the listener, something, a takeaway, as it were, talking about talk to the youth, people your age, who seem to be sort of like running on a treadmill in one place, not getting anywhere.
All right. Part of what happens is that we look around and we want to do what other people are doing. We want to do with what's trending. Sometimes you need to get in a position where you cut away from the noise and ask yourself this question: what can I do with the skills that I have? What can I do with the abilities that I have? What kind of business can I start to today and put it out there? The reason why we find ourselves like there's so much competition is because we are trying to do what everyone is doing. Being authentic with yourself and personal growth, you can only feel it when you are doing the things that really resonate with your heart. And sometimes it requires you to move away from the noise and saying, let me start this. If I can fail, I can go back to the masses. That's the decision that I had to make, to say, I'm working a 9 to 5, but I want to experience something beyond that. I can always get a job, Mr. Mogobe, because of the knowledge that I equip myself with. But if I can apply myself and start a business in this area, what can happen? There are two options. You either learn or you either succeed. Life is always giving us those lessons. Be willing to put yourself in a position.
In other words, no failure. It's
No
either
failure.
you're learning or you're
Either you are
succeeding.
learning or succeeding.
Yeah.
So that's
Now,
the whole message.
How do people reach you? On what platforms are you available?
Alright, if you do have to Mompoloki Makwana, Facebook, Mompoloki Makwana, LinkedIn, Mompoloki Makwana. My number is 74776196. 74776196.
Can you do me a favor and tell the audience to subscribe to Mogobe Wisdom Podcast?
Please make sure to hit the subscribe button and also leave a comment. What did you learn from today's nuggets? We'll be really happy to see your comment.
Thank you very much, dear listener. One of the most energetic interviews we've had in a long time. Thank you very much. Until next time, this is Mompoloki Lerumo signing off.